Now in the world of creativity huwa tunasema field hiyo ina wenyewe. Kuna ambao wamebobea, kuna ambao wamepractice, they have done their thing, they have made it all through in the world of creativity. Sasa hapa tunaye a very amazing young man ambaye atatuambia all about his works, maybe in narratives, in the world of film, in the world of drama. Najua kuna ma high schoolers sahi, they are feeling so much excited because hapa tunaye, najua saa zingine watu tunaona matrainer wanatukalia, but he's going to take us through all the ethics. Ikifika ni drama festivals. Msamani sana mpenzi mtazamaji kwa hitilafu hiyo ya kimitambo, lakini sasa tumerejea na tutaenda moja kwa moja ili kujua more about this young man ambaye ako hapa. Atajiintroduce mwenyewe, atawaambia jina and more about what he actually has decided to engage in. Kwa hivyo tutajumuika naye. Kwa hivyo ikiwa una maswali yoyote usisahau at KUTV Kenya @BeatriceWatare, na vile vile kwenye Twitter, Facebook, kila mahali ni @BeatriceWatare @KUTV Kenya. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Haya, utatuambia majina yako kamili ni nani?
Naitwa Cliford Ouma. Lakini kwa usanii najulikana kama Nyakwar Dani.
Nyakwar Dani.
Yes, so ukienda drama festival, if you look for Cliford Ouma, you will still meet me, but chances are only the veterans and the national officials might know me by that name. Most people, the young people, my students, my former students know me as Nyakwar.
Nyakwar.
Okay, sometimes the Dani part is difficult because it is Luo, so most of them call me Nyakwar. But
Nyakwar.
Yes. But officially, as the government knows me as Cliford Ouma.
No, okay. And
Yes.
Nyakwar, so where did that name come from, maybe?
Art. I think it was in 2005. I think I was in Form 3.
Yeah.
I'd just moved to a new school. I had been in Kisumu Day, where Kisumu Day was a drama powerhouse by then.
Yes.
But then because of some issues, I moved from Kisumu Day to a boarding school now, which was just next to my home. Then I introduced drama there.
Yeah.
It didn't have drama, so I introduced drama in that school, and the play we were doing, the narrative we were doing, had a character called Nyakwar Dani. And I was playing that role, so I did so well. So the name stuck. So when I went to the university, I had a few of my former classmates that we moved with to the university. They started calling me by that name, so people picked it up, and it has become my brand now. It is actually a brand right now. So I stick with it. Yeah.
Okay, sneaking a bit into maybe what you do, ningependa kujua, so did you in the world of film, in the world of narratives, in the world of plays, so where did you get this inspiration from? Like, did you start when you were a kid, or how did you begin in art?
Funny, we went to school during days when the teacher's word was low. So when I was in primary school, I think class 6, we had this drama teacher. He was called Mr. Joel Otiende. He's late now, and by that time I was in the school team playing football as a goalkeeper, a very good one. I was actually the second goalkeeper. Number 1 was in class 8, so I knew that the following year now I would take over as number 1. Then this teacher comes in and says, you know what, I think I have seen you making a lot of noise in class. You can do very well in drama. And our attitude towards drama by that time in the village, because I went to school in the village, drama was not something we thought a serious person could do. Actually, we used to call it kitu ya makelele. So he forced me to join drama. Of course, I tried sneaking out, and I paid for it. You know, we went to school when corporal punishment was still allowed, so I was beaten into it. I joined. And by the time I was getting to class 8 now, the passion I had picked up very well. We had gone all the way to provincial level.
Yeah.
So when I joined high school now, because Kisumu Day was a drama powerhouse, I straight away joined drama, and that is how I picked it. Yeah. But professionally, that's not what I do. I just do it because of passion. It is talent.
Okay.
Professionally, I am a trained teacher. I actually am a teacher of English and literature. So I am a teacher, but drama is my passion. I always say that I'm a trained teacher, but I'm a professional director and actor. I don't call it a side hustle as some people call it. To me, it is like my main thing. I would actually call teaching my side hustle. If you can call something that pays you at the end of every month a side hustle. Yeah.
Okay, very well then. Kwa hivyo, you may also maybe brief us about the current drama festivals ambazo zimeisha just recently. Maybe you can tell us, so what were you majoring in?
Over the years, I've majored in narratives.
Yeah.
For a very long time. I was a narrator as a student. Then I started training narratives. So that has been my area. And just like that, this past festival, I led 2 schools doing narratives. That is Highway Secondary School that I have trained since 2011. They did well. They finished 3rd nationally.
Yes.
I was also training Multimedia University, again in the narrative, where my student who was at Highway had moved. The boy who did Otonglo Time. Yes, he had moved to multimedia. So the administration felt that now, because I had mentored the boy all through, it was important that I continue with him. So he also finished 3rd. But apart from that, I also do plays once in a while, especially I co-write. So I had an opportunity to also work with Laser Hill Academy. We had a play called The Rabble Rouser, which was number 2. Then now I have also, for the last 3 years now, I've been trying to diversify a little bit, so that now just apart from just stage, tunajaribu kufanya filamu pia. Kwa hivyo, my school that I teach in, Loreto Convent Msongari, we major in the film. So we've done film for the last 3 years. So we had a film this year. We had a film play, we had a film narrative, a screen narrative, we had a screen verse, we had a documentary, and we had an advert. And all of them finished in the top 3. So we are happy. At least the screen narrative was number 1, the advert was number 1, the documentary was number 2, the screenplay was number 3, and so we diversify.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm very much interested with that diversification part of it. I would love to ask, so you as a writer, you've coordinated with so many of them, you've you've worked with so many other participants in whatever you do. So I'd love to ask, when you're writing or when anything is supposed to be staged, what mainly do you focus on? Is it mainly the cultures, or maybe what is trending? What, as a writer, do you major in?
Every writer will tell you that inspiration comes from a lot of things. One, sometimes you write from personal experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes you write from what is trending. Sometimes you write from the current issues. So usually for me, it depends with the idea that tickles me. For example, I'll give you a very good example, Otonglo Time, which is so far it is what I would consider my most successful piece of writing, because it caught the attention of the nation. The president took the boy, adopted the boy, and the boy is now known as the president's son.
Yeah.
So it gave me a name. Now, Otonglo Time was an idea that came from 2 factors. One, I read a report by the United Nations that said by the year 2050, all urban centers in Africa will be full. And what they said, Nairobi will be too full to host its occupants. And at that time, that was 2013, we were just establishing the county governments. We had just come from the elections, and the county government, we were implementing the constitution, and devolution was there. So there was this report on NTV that said the resources are being moved back to the counties. But then this report is saying that people are moving to the cities. So I asked myself, if people are moving to the cities, yet resources are being moved to mashinani, then that could be the reason why we don't have employment in the cities, because we are moving to the cities where the resources are not there. So I came up with this narrative about a young man who moves from the village, comes to the city to look for employment, struggles, lives in the slum, and kana mahali pa kukaa, ana chakula. and all these problems that we deal with in the city. And then one day he decides to go back to the village. And when he goes back to the village, because of the resources that have been moved back there,
Yes.
he gets a business idea and starts working for the county government and becomes successful. So usually those ideas come from different persuasions. This year, for example, the narrative we did at Highway was about cancer. We called it My Brother's Story. And it is because of, I have seen almost every family today is affected by cancer. I'm very sure even you've been invited to several WhatsApp groups where you contribute because somebody is supposed to go for treatment in India, and they're supposed to go for chemotherapy and all that. So cancer is something we are dealing with today. Our play at Laser Hill, that was number 2, The Rebel Rouser, was about a building that has collapsed. And it was inspired by what happened in Roma last year. Okay, the building that came down, and when the questions were being asked, we were being told the reason why this building came down, we used materials which are not standard. The people who were supposed to approve the building did not do their job well, and all those. So we came up with that, and of course now you inject creativity. Now the difference between drama and news. If I give you that news on Oruma, you being a TV presenter, we just present it the way it is. Now, my work as a writer is now to change it and inject a few twists and turns. For example, in this particular play, we decided to make it a 3-story building. And we said, on the ground floor, we have butcheries and all that. Second floor, we have residential houses. And then on the 3rd floor, we have a college. So the owner of this building is an Arikisha building so that he can be able to put more businesses on this building. And of course, we bring in the issue of using some standard materials. For example, there's a scene where the foreman decides to sell part of the cement. There are 50 bags of cement, and one of the workers decide to use them because they feel the ratio they've been given is wrong. And this guy gets sacked. He's told, you are here to follow instruction, as I follow the instruction of the boss. So usually it is a combination of factors.
Yes.
Sometimes we write from a rumor. Okay. In the year 2011, for example, Laser Hill had a play called WikiLeaks. And by that time, the term WikiLeaks was trending. And WikiLeaks, to remember, was a rumor that there was a website somewhere that was giving out secrets. So we came up with a play about a rumor in school. A student passes by the office and hears a conversation and decides to twist and comes and reports to the students that nimesikia principal anataka kuuza one of our students who is an albino. So it is a rumor. Sometimes it is from jokes. You sit in a matatu and somebody shares a joke and you note it down. You run away with it and now create it. So it is a combination of factors. So different writers have different motivations.
Yes.
What is important is how observant you are as a writer. You have to be very observant. You have to be a very keen listener.
Yes.
And of course, you have to be a very creative thinker, critical thinker.
So you must keep your ears to the ground.
Very much, very much, yes, because you have to have an inner ear. What somebody hears and dismisses can be an award-winning item for you as a writer. Yes.
And as a writer and at the same time also a teacher in Loreto, so what are the challenges that you're faced? Are you maybe finding it hard to balance or anything of the sort?
Definitely. Writing and directing is a demanding job.
Yes.
Very demanding because when you finish training, for example, at 9, most of the time I train up to as late as 9 p.m. And then I have to get home. By the time I get home, it is 11 probably. I'm supposed to prepare for a lesson the next day and all that. So balancing is a major issue. The other issue is attitude, especially from colleagues and parents.
Yes.
And we still live in a very funny world where people believe that art is not something very, very important.
Yeah.
Parents still want their children, all of them, to get an A come to Kenyatta University, study engineering, study medicine, and go out there and become doctors.
Yeah.
So when you get a child who is talented and you have parents who are not supportive, then you have colleagues who are not supportive. Actually, I am sorry to say this on air, but we have teachers like picking on drama students.
Yeah, that's true.
When somebody makes noise in class, they always want to think it is the drama student. When students fail, you will have 15 students who have failed, but if among the 15 there's one who is in drama, they'll always talk about that one. I have had cases where we have a meeting in the staff room and all my colleagues are picking on the drama student who has failed. And yet the others have failed. I teach and students fail my subject. But I don't pick on them because of what they do outside the class. I don't go to the football teacher and tell them, this girl who plays football has failed my subject because of because of. And interestingly, when one passes exam, a drama student passes an exam. For example, last year I had 5 of them in Form 4. Now, out of those 5, 3 of them got university cut-off point. 2 of them had B, and 1 had a C+. The remaining 2 had C planes. Now, in our school, we had a D. So this year, nobody has talked about drama wasting time. The previous year, we had 2 that had D, and drama was wasting time. In fact, they even insisted that Form 4 should not be in drama. So when they pass, nobody remembers they're in drama. When they fail, the whole world must know that they're in drama. So those are challenges that we face. Again, sometimes the administration doesn't understand. For example, when you're given deadlines.
Yes.
So nobody wants to know that you stay in school until 11 to give the school because eventually when we win, for example, we've just come from Kisumu with so many trophies. There are 7 trophies. I've not even taken one home. None, even I'll not even stay with one in my desk. They are all going to the principal's office. They'll be displayed there for all the visitors to come and see. All the certificates are used to decorate the school walls. Yes. So you do all this for the school and for the student. But of course, when the deadlines are put, if as a drama teacher I fail to meet my deadlines, it becomes a problem. It becomes the topic in the staff WhatsApp group. So, but then there are things we are ready to face for the sake of the child. Personally, I say my servant is the child. I work for the child.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. I am ready to face all those if that is what will help me bring out the talent in the kids once I've discovered them. Yes.
Very much amazing. It's actually good to learn that apart from, even though you're facing a lot of challenges, it doesn't mean that is the end of everything. One has to keep moving, one has to keep going. At the end of it, the child who benefits from it is going to always remember Nyakwar really made a great impact in my life. Yes. And maybe as we wind up, would love to know maybe when I observe what is happening in these days, in this 21st century, we find that a lot of our cultural heritage has in one way or another been eroded. So how can maybe artistic work guide people through maintaining or maybe upholding their cultural values?
Well, all artists have a role to play in preserving our cultures. If you look at the objectives of Kenya Drama Festival, one of them is creating cultural awareness among the young people. We have a genre in the Kenya Drama Festival called the Cultural Creative Dance, for example. The Cultural Creative Dance, the marking scheme says that dance must have a cultural base. And depending on various areas, for example, the rule says we are supposed to take 2 dances to the nationals. Now, one of the dances from every region must be in the language, the prevalent language in that area. For example, if we have a dance coming from Nyanza, one must be either in Luo or Kisi or Kuria language. If we go to Central, we can have a dance in Luya, yes, but one of the dances coming to the nationals must be in Kikuyu. Okay? Yes. That way now, what we are doing, we are trying to encourage these young people to appreciate their culture. And of course, the idiom in the dance the dance steps, the idioms, the language of the songs and everything is done in their language. So art has a role in preserving our culture, but I am not just about preservation. I am actually pro-innovation, because there are aspects of our culture that have been overtaken by time and events. Yeah. So what we need to do with our culture is we need to try and remold it. Okay, inject a few things in it. For example, storytelling is an old African aspect of education. Yeah. But the way we tell our stories today is a little bit different. We try to inject in a little bit of modernity, because if you tell those students today to tell the story the way they were told in the 19th century, they'll feel bored.
Yes.
Okay? Because these are people who are surrounded by gadgets and all that. So the reason why, for example, in my narratives you'll find that we sing and dance and play keyboard, for example, is we are trying to mix the oral tradition of storytelling with modernity, so that now you have a little bit of that. When you look at those cultural dances, for example, Luak girls did something very interesting last year. They did a Luo dance. Luo dance steps and all that. Yeah. But then they introduced trumpets, and they introduced a few violins and all that, and guitar.
Yes.
People criticized them, but for me, I felt they did something nice, because what they were trying to do, they were maintaining the culture, yeah. But they were injecting something new. If you're going to do a Kikuyu dance, for example, you'll do Momboko and do all that, but if it doesn't hurt if you introduce a little bit of modernity, so that these students feel part of it because of their generation, but they also find a way of remembering where they are coming from. Yes. Okay. So art has a role to play in cultural maintaining our culture, preservation, but it also has a way in a role in bridging that gap. Yeah. So that now what we need to do is we should not cast it away and say we need to do something new, and so we just create a bridge in between, and art should be that bridge. Yes.
That is very amazing, because at the end of it you end up embracing both, and whoever is participating feels free and you're willing to do everything. So time is really not on our side, but we appreciate that we've heard from the horse's mouth. We've been able to educate ourselves from Cliff. We've been able to understand what are these perspectives we need to take in interest when it comes to drama festivals, writing, narratives. You don't just wake up one day and decide to write. You don't just wake up one day and decide that I'm going to be an artist. You have to keep your ears to the ground. So that was it. We've really had an amazing time. Usiende mbali, bado tuna mengi ambayo tumewaandalia. Hivi sasa tutamwaga mwenzangu hapa, kidogo kidogo ataniandikia narrative. Nitakuja kuipresent hapa next time. Ndio hivyo. Anyway, usiende mbali.